because you were ex-bodyguard of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I have so many questions about that.
Sure.
But how did you even have this opportunity to come across Michael and become his bodyguard?
So when my martial arts school took off, the one we talked about earlier on, I was doing $1 million a year. I had a reporter come in, and he had a son and a daughter who trained in the classes, and he wanted to do a story on me. I thought this was the local newspaper, and he interviewed me about Bully Boy, no school qualifications, and he worked out on a calculator that I was making $1 million a year. I had a Ferrari as well at the time, which kind of gave it away. You couldn't really hide from it, especially in Barnstable. Mm-hmm. And he went away, and I thought, was this for the local paper? He said, yeah, maybe. Anyway, 2 days later, I didn't hear nothing. And then it was on the front page of every national paper in the UK. Bully Boy becomes millionaire. It was international news. And they used a picture of me when I was a little young at school, my school picture of me doing a punch in a martial arts uniform, a picture of me sat in my car. And on the back of that, TV researchers are looking for stories. So they're flicking through newspapers or online nowadays. Mm-hmm. And they thought this would be an interesting story. So I did all the morning TV shows. Yeah. And some evening TV shows too. And that came to the attention of a guy called Uri Geller, who's world famous and all over the world. In the UK, he's more known for bending spoons.
Bending spoons, yeah.
Power of his mind, but everywhere else all positive things. But like Tony Robbins, where he's got the firewalk, and Uri Geller's got the spoon bending thing.
I love how he made his millions.
Yeah. Geller, Yuri's extremely clever, you know. And he wanted to meet me. He wanted to make an anti-bullying video. He's got a good heart to give out to schools all across the UK, where I would teach them the self-defense side of things, and Yuri would teach a bit more positive mind. Stay positive and overcome the mind power side of it. We didn't make that video, but we went on to make a fitness-based video, similar type concept, martial arts aerobics type thing. And then he did the power of the mind, and it released in Asia. It was incredibly successful, and we became best friends. And unbeknown to me, I had no idea. I knew he had mega famous friends. I mean, the guy's got this house is like a replica of the White House, just outside of Reading, Southern-on-Thames. Very motivating for me as a young guy, going to go and hang out with him, seeing that house, thinking, I want to be where you are, Yuri. You know, I want a house like you've got. Mm-hmm. And I used to go for long walks with Yuri. Every day he'd walk for a couple of hours a day. And famous people would call, but not this person. And then, well, not in my, maybe he did, I don't know. Presidents and royalties, different like would call Uri Geller up. But then I was in my house in Barnstable, 3 o'clock in the morning, phone rings. The landline back then was the main method of communication. And it was Yuri. Yeah, Uri Geller saying, you got to come to my house now. Okay. And I said, I can't. What am I supposed to say to my other half? She's going to think I'm having an affair or something. If you don't come now, you're going to regret this for the rest of your life. And he said, I love you. And he put the phone down on me, and that was it. So I thought, what the heck? He's never steered me wrong. He taught me about investing in property. So he's like, Matt, stop buying Ferraris, stop doing this. Keep buying houses. They're not going to build any more land. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very clever guy. So I drove to his house. It was about a 2.5, 3 hour drive. And the gates open, and I drive down to his mansion. And then there's nothing there that was unusual. There had 3 black SUV blacked out vans outside. And I walk in the living room, and then this frail guy stood up from the sofa, walked across to me, and he bowed, said, hi, Master Fiddes, my name's Michael Jackson, pleased to meet you. And I'm thinking, wow, man, this is a prank show. I was looking for all the secret cameras or something, because there were a lot of prank shows back then. And we got on really well. Me and Mike became good friends, and it turned out Joseph Jackson, his dad, wanted all the Jackson 5 to be black belts and to learn how to defend themselves because they're so famous, so young. And he got to 1st degree black belt, and he wanted someone who he could trust to take him to 2nd degree, along with his best friend, Mark Lester, who played Oliver Twist, the original Oliver Twist. So they're the same age, they grew up together and so on. So we were talking all day, all night about Bruce Lee. That was the other thing too. He wanted me, I had connections to Bruce Lee's family. So he wanted me to introduce him to Bruce Lee's ex-wife and Bruce Lee's daughter, Sharon Lee. Sadly, Bruce's son, Brandon, passed away with an accident on the film set. And what Michael likes to do is a bit like what Tony Robbins talks about. He likes to find the best in the world at something and Find out what
Right.
made Bruce Lee so relevant all these years on. Why is he still the most famous martial artist, action star ever? So he wanted to quiz his ex-wife and his daughter about that. So he wanted me to try and make that meeting happen. We got on really well, and for a year or so we were just friends. And then his long-term bodyguards had left, and it's very hard because he had, when he would recruit them, they would cost him I think about $150,000 to $200,000 a month. But then he couldn't answer the phone in front of them in case they sell a story. So when I used to go out with Michael, because I was the martial arts guy, I had big muscles back then. I've let them go. I don't need big muscles anymore. I used to be protective of my friends. So when they were out and the paparazzi would come in and the fans and the public, I used to hold on to him. And my picture would be associated with him all the time. And in the end, because I was the martial arts man, 6'4", it just became a thing. Like Michael used to say, you're my bodyguard. In the end, I said to him, I said, look, Mike, if you want me to protect you wherever in the world, it's fine. I was already a millionaire before I met him. People think I made my money from him. He never paid me a penny. He offered me money, but I never take it because that's why the relationship worked. It was non-transactional. Right. We were friends. And for the first 5 years, I did a lot with him personally. Then I started having kids and stuff, and he's very caring. He doesn't want me to take a bullet when I've got children being born and stuff like that. But I had my family, my brother-in-law at the time. We used to help out, and I had access to all these martial arts instructors. So he was. I took over his security operation, and after like mid-2005, I took more of a backseat. I became more of his friend again. So I'd visit him when he was in London with Mark Lester. I talked to him on the phone and go and visit him whenever I could, and he would come and visit me. And that's how it worked out. So he became best friend and so forth. But it was a non-transactional relationship. And he knew my kids and it was great. He used to take them out shopping and stuff. And a wonderful man. And he taught me how to franchise. He taught me how to take my 5 martial arts schools I had in North Devon and get my mind thinking to expand via franchising. I told him no one's ever done that before in the martial arts. He said, that's exactly why you got to do it. And we opened up 400 sites on the back of his advice. He was a shrewd man. That guy was a ruthless businessman. He wrote down on a napkin exactly what I had to do: build a brand, understand media, and make use of that, become a big name, make things into manuals, script everything. So you go to any of the Matt Fiddes martial arts schools, they all are the same. Right. Make the curriculum, make it family based. And when I used to throw Michael objections, he used to say, yeah, but it can be done because look what I've done, Matt. I've come from a poor family in Gary, Indiana, 9 children in a 2-bedroom house. My dad used to work in a steel mill. We used to have handouts of food to make us eat because they had no money. And he's got the biggest selling album in the world, Thriller, filling out stadiums of 80,000 people. So he wouldn't have any of my objections. He was like, you're talking nonsense. You can do this. And and then from that point onwards, whenever I used to ring him or he used to ring me, he'd be like, how many schools are you open, Matt? How are you doing? And I'll throw the question back at him and say, how are you doing? He said, I've just signed a tour of Korea for $80 million. And I'll come off the phone thinking, man, Mike's kicking my butt. I need to up my game. But he kept me accountable.
Right.
Awesome guy.